Heavy metal rock.
Global mind.
And today on My Global Mind, we're talking with Anthony Gomes, hard rock and blues guitarist and vocalist for the release of his new album, High Voltage Blues. Welcome, Anthony, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome CD. I love it.
I love you already.
Yeah, I went on a trip this past weekend, and I listened to it like nonstop. So I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, when you hear blues, you're thinking of a different style of music, but you're really hard rock blues.
Yeah, you know, to me, everything is rocked up these days.
Yeah.
So you watch a country music video and it sounds like the 80s with banjos. You go see a symphony and they're playing, you know, the music of the Rolling Stones. So everything is, I guess we're living in faster, harder times. So everything is got more of an edge. But, you know, I grew up listening to hard rock and blues, and I love them both, and I don't want to have to choose, you know, so I sort of throw it all in there. And, you know, I love Ritchie Blackmore and Vivian Campbell as much as I love John Lee Hooker and B.B. King.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. When I've been listening, like I said, I've been listening to your album nonstop, and in the song, Turn It Up, you talk about blues and Technicolor. And I thought that perfectly describes also what you do. It's something, taking something very familiar and at the same time making it new and exciting.
Thank you. You know, I read an old press release from Ray Charles. Okay, so this goes back 50 years, and they said the blues is not new, but Ray tries to make it exciting. I thought, here we are, 50 years later, taking this form and just trying to do something refreshing with it. And I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you.
Yeah,
You made my day.
You know, I think what I really loved about the album, not only was the hard rock riffs, but the storytelling behind it. You know, where my favorite songs were Covered Handcuffs and Red-Handed Blues. Like I said, not because of the riffs, but because of the story behind it. And I was very intrigued to hear the outcome and then to laugh about it and listen again. Where do you pull your inspiration from for songs like that?
You know, there's a couple of people who I really loved. One is Bon Scott with AC/DC. Another was a blues guy named Albert Collins. And he'd always have funny stories. You know, he had a story about, you know, he's having trouble with his wife and his woman on the side because now he got a third one and everything got screwed up. And, you know, and you just laugh at these songs that Albert Collins would have. So for a long time, I really resisted putting humor in our music because I thought people wouldn't take us seriously, you know, because we work hard. But after a while, it's like, you know what, we got to have fun. And sometimes in this crazy world where everybody is beating each other up on social media, if we can get a good laugh together, maybe we can, you know, move on and be happy, you know.
No, that's awesome. I love it. I thought it was fun stuff. It was a lot of fun too to listen to it, so I enjoyed that. You know, is there a specific themes that you like to gravitate? I know you said you like to put a little humor into it, but is there themes that you really like?
I think as a songwriter, the highest form of songwriting is to unite humanity and make the world a better place. You know, Paul McCartney, right, biggest rock star of all time, you know, arguably the greatest songwriter, you know, he's achieved everything you can achieve. And to him, writing songs about love have been what he feels is his greatest contribution. So, you know, we try to do that. And sometimes we try to do it through humor or you know, with a little swagger, like, you know, peace, love, and loud guitars.
Awesome.
You know, but at the end of the day, that's the end goal, is to bring people together, bring music genres together, and you know, time is so short here on planet Earth. Let's just have some fun and turn it up to 11, man. You know.
Yeah. Peace, love, and loud guitars. That should be on the back of your t-shirts. I don't know if it is, but it should absolutely be on the back of your shirt. That's an awesome song and an awesome phrase.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's great stuff. Speaking of that song, it was my next question. What's the history behind that one? I know that now we're talking humor, and we're talking tying the peace and love into it. What about how about the inspiration for the riff? That's killer.
I was going down the bag of classic rock, so I would, you know, I sort of thought, what would Jimmy Page do if he was in AC/DC?
Okay.
But funny, this is an absolute true story. Okay, so I started to get into a little graphic design because I wanted to design T-shirts, and so I realized that a lot of people buy a shirt for what's on the back. Like they look at the front, and what sells them is the back, you know. So I made a T-shirt, and it said, "To the left, peace, love, and loud guitars." And then so, T-shirts started to sell really well. And then, like an idiot, I went, "Hey, maybe I should write a song called Peace, Love, and Loud Guitars." So the exact opposite happened, where it was a T-shirt first.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. So that's absolutely nuts. But anyway.
So the riff is great. It's a great anthem. It's a hard rock anthem. You know, I love that one too. So many good songs on it. You know, and I think the whole CD as an entity, the High Voltage Blues, is very intimate at the same time and has an atmospheric feel to it. Like I'm sitting in a dimly lit, smoky bar, listening to you, you know, make your way up and craft your songs. It's the honesty is dripping out of the speakers. Being a new fan, do you think this is your most ambitious album to date?
Well, you know, it's like choosing between your children, you know. I would say that, yes, in many ways it is. And in many ways, we've been a blues rock project. And Joe O'Brien from Rat Pack Records just discovered us when he was streaming. He was listening to Gary Moore, and it said, if you like Gary Moore, check us out. And he hadn't heard any of our music. And he was talking to all of his rock friends, and they said, well, I have no idea who this guy is. So he said, well, hey, you're a blues rock guy that's been marketed just in the blues. What happens if we push you into the rock world? And through Joe, I was able to have people like Chris Collier mix this album, and Billy Sheehan and Ray Luzier from Korn playing drums and bass. And that, being surrounded by those quality people really pushed me creatively and to go to new heights. So I would say, yes, for that reason, it is our most ambitious.
That's cool. I'm speaking with Billy Sheehan tomorrow for his new album, Talus.
Yeah, look at you. I'm nodding with everybody.
I'm name dropping too. I got it all going.
Yeah, man, that's right. That's right. And tell him to stop practicing because he's just too good.
He's too good.
Yeah, he's got to give everybody else a chance.
Let the world catch up to him, right?
Yeah, man, just stop 6 months. Don't play for 6 months, okay?
Are you and him good buddies, and Ray also?
I would say that, no, actually, I just met them through the recording process, but we've become, I'd say, really good at friends or acquaintances, or and you know, we harass each other every now and then, which is great. And Billy is a black cat guy. He's got a black cat. I got a black cat. So we immediately bonded like two nerds. And you know, so yeah, it's cool, man. And they're both really great guys. Awesome.
I'll tell him you say hi tomorrow.
Please do.
I will. I definitely will. You know, are there any songs on High Voltage Blues that embody your guitar tone?
Say that again. What's that?
Sure. Are there any songs off of High Voltage Blues that truly embody your guitar tone?
I try just not to suck. That's my goal.
Dude, you don't suck.
Yeah. So, you know, uh, there's some people who like to have a variety of guitar tones, like Jimmy Page, who I adore. I tried to go for more of a, Angus Young, BB King, AC/DC, where you sort of have your tone. So I used a lot of the same guitar. I used a Strat and a Les Paul and a Flying V on 99% of the record, and a Marshall and a Fender amp and a Kemper for some things. So, yeah, I do like the lead tone in Darkest Before the Dawn because it's sort of a little departure from my typical sound. Yeah, I try to make it the best that I can. So I'm not as scientific as some people where, Eric Johnson's got his battery and it's, 80%, charged. And, I just try to go there and get a sound that inspires me to play that sounds big, and bold. And, so maybe I'm answering this in the whole wrong.
No, you got it, man. That's fair. That's a fair assessment. Yeah, I do a lot of reading myself about guitarists and what they do. And they change the wattage and the amp, and they change the tubes, and they change this, and they change that. And it's like, oh my God, it's so complicated, and it's just want to plug in and play and really make it sound good. And I think you accomplished that, whatever the magic is behind it.
Yeah, I think I'm more of a plug and play kind of person. But here's the things that I've learned during this album. What guitar cables are you using? The shorter the cable, the better. Usually if they're gold tips at the end. I ended up I did a big shootout and I used Megami Platinums. They're like $100 for a cable this big, but I found that they were cleaner. I really liked the tone. The guitar pick that you use can really, here are guys spending hundreds of bucks on pedals, and I'm like, wow, this pick really changed the way that my guitar tone. The 79-cent pick really changed it. For better for worse, here's where your tone is, right here in your hands. We all have different hands and different ways of attacking things. And but I like to plug and play, man. I like to go in and I admire people like Page who are sonic architects, but right now at this moment, that's not the type of player that I am at this time.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to know. It gives hope for all the other guys out there that don't understand all the technical mumbo jumbo, behind. I just want to play guitar, make it sound good.
Yeah, man. I mean, 90% of it is in your hands and your technique and how you're striking the guitar. There's that famous story of Ted Nugent playing Eddie Van Halen's guitar, and he would sound like Eddie. No, man, you sounded like Ted Nugent on his guitar. So, but that's really, to me, that's a wonderful thing because with technology and plugins and this and that, it seems like one could argue that the personality of guitar tone is diminishing. But no, it's like the opposite. It's like, no, it's in your hands, man. If you don't like your tone, go back to the woodshed.
Yeah. Speaking of guitar picks, do you go with the heavy ones? I've gotten a lot of guitar picks. I do a lot of photography, and I've been in the pit, and you get guitar picks here and there, and they're so heavy and so thick. I always like the medium, but these guys are throwing me these. They're almost like pennies. They're thick as pennies. I don't think I could ever play with a pick that thick. What do you do?
I use Jazz 3s, which are really tiny and thick. And I use 11 gauge guitar strings.
Okay.
To me, the heavier the string and the pick, the more the dynamic range I have. So if I have a little thin pick, which I love for acoustic guitar or strummy things. But I think you just need the right tool for the job. So sometimes I will use a lighter pick. But if I want to beat up the guitar, I got to beat it up with some heavy stuff, man.
I got to start trying the heavier picks and see how that goes. I've always been a medium guy, but so.
There's a lot of good players that play medium picks. It's like that's what makes you. Keep doing what you do.
It's true. That's true. Thank you. When I loved all your solos too. Do you typically improvise your solos, or do you work them out note for note when you're going to go record?
Yes. So
yes to both.
Yeah, yes to both. So some things are one take, just spur of the moment. And then other things are like, well, no, that's not going to work for this solo. There's a solo called Born to Ride, and the solo is the same riff that constantly modulates. So that took a little bit of thinking, like, oh, okay, yeah, I got to tell a story here, and you know, change positions and make that exciting. So yeah, or other times it's usually the first. Usually it's the first one or two that speak, and if I don't have it that day, I'm like, I'll come back tomorrow. I'll do it. I'll do it then.
Oh, it's awesome. You know, what do you ever? No, I'm getting a little tongue-tied, but I've spoken to so many guitar players lately, and there seems to be a resurgence in the hard rock blues these days. What is it that you find so fascinating about playing hard rock blues? I know you've been doing it most of your career and growing up, but what's fascinates you today about it?
You know, what's really exciting is like having an out of style pair of bell bottom pants that you've been wearing for 20 years, and then all of a sudden they're popular, and you're like, wow, man, I've been wearing these pants. Everybody's been giving me crap, and now all of a sudden everybody wants a pair of pants like mine. To me, blues music is about two things: personality and passion. Okay, it's not like you're playing over these crazy jazz chords, and you know, there's a lot of latitude because the harmonic structure is simple, but that allows you a wide canvas to paint on. So I love that about the blues, but I also love the technique and the energy and the tone of hard rock. You know, pitched harmonics and you know, the intensity. So I love combining both those and living in the here and now. You know, I mean, if John Lee Hooker was alive today, he'd probably have a fuzz face pedal, you know, and
Yeah,
trying things like Gary Clark Jr.'s doing or what have you. You know,
very cool. How do you see it fitting in with the world? I mean, you touched upon it earlier about peace and love and trying to find happiness and redemption. So, with the world we have right now with the craziness, do you think it fits in?
I think it's very important because blues is the most human music. I watched this really cool video with Bobby McFerrin, the great vocalist,
Mhm.
and he would jump and hit a note and sing a note, jump and sing another note, and the only scale around the world that everybody could follow was the blues scale. So musically, he found that that's the most universal scale. The blues is a human music. It's a music of healing and laughter and perseverance. And I think the blues started from a place of segregation and horrible conditions, and it grew to be this beautiful music that included everyone.
Yeah.
So I think more so now than ever, the blues is needed, and we need some healing. The instrument to do that's on a rocked up electric guitar playing the pentatonic scale.
That's an awesome response. It's fantastic. That's great. You know, and like I said, I'm a new fan, and you've been consistently putting out CDs since like I think 1997. How do you keep yourself pushing forward without stagnating from your unique approach?
I try to create every album like it's my first album.
Mhm.
So many artists' best work is their first release because they're hungry. They've worked hard, and they can put all their best songs on it that they've written over the past 5 years. And then they have to do a second album, and they've been touring like crazy. And,
Yeah.
you know, and then maybe they've been distracted from all the excitement of touring. So I try to be as focused as possible and start every album like it's my first album and present myself with some sort of challenge. You know, so the challenge was, how can I play as soulfully as possible? I'm more of a field player. I'm not a technical player, but I work to the best of my ability to be a technical player. And I adjusted some things on my technique and to be more relevant, maybe, you know, because these kids coming up are really good.
Yeah.
But that was a goal. And I think that excitement, if you can excite yourself as an artist, like it's your first album, I think that you'll always make your fans happy.
That's great. What album do you think I should listen to next? What would your recommendation be?
Man, whatever your soul speaks to you and tells you to listen to, I would say go there. Maybe Electric Field Holler might be a good one to listen to. Yeah, man. With
Great, I'm gonna definitly check that out. That'll be my next.
now you know why I have a publicist, right?
Well, yeah, I'm thinking like once I've only had this, I guess, for a week. So I'm thinking already ahead. What's the next one to keep this flow going, and pick up on it. So that's great. You did some touring. You're still in the process of touring, if I'm not mistaken. Are you coming back to New Jersey, New York, or have you been here, or what's the plan for a larger tour?
I think we've played everywhere. We've done 19 countries. I think 42 states. We've definitely been in Jersey. We got to get back. And things are just starting to return to normal. It's been so strange as a musician when COVID hit. It hit us all pretty hard, and I was always optimistic that things would open up. And in my mind, I thought some person, a politician, a physician, somebody from an organization would get on a microphone with a lot of reverb, and be, ladies and gentlemen, COVID is over. And then people would start racing out of their caves and their houses. Their masks would be thrown up, and they'd be like, woo! And it would be the biggest orgy of a party ever known to mankind, right? No, that's not happening. Nobody's ever. And so people are like slowly, reluctantly getting out of their houses. And, our ticket sales are finally just getting back or close to pre-COVID numbers. So it's making sense to get back out there. And I typically like to do about 120 shows a year.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I used to do 250 for years and years and years. And then I realized I had no life. And that's not good for your art. You need to do non-music, boring things and hang out with non-musicians and live life and have a perspective for your art. So, but yeah, our goal is to shoot back to about 100, 120 dates a year and to get out to New Jersey. Come on, man.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to come. Like I said, I do a lot of photography, and next time you come out, I'll review the show and I'll take some pictures. So I'd be excited to see, and I should be ready musically for you when you come in for your song. So I'll be ready when you come to New Jersey.
I'll work on the worst ever guitar faces for you. I've always got them perfected. So there'll be lots of really ugly subject matter for you to work with. It'll be great.
And my last question, I saw that you have a new song coming out. You just did a new video for it, right? I believe.
Yes. So that's a track on the album. We're pimping it appropriately by releasing lots of videos and getting stuff out there. And video is such a great medium today, as we're doing a video interview, Yeah. So yeah, and this video has a bit more of a message, and it's a bit more of a rockier edged video style. So yeah, I'm looking forward for people to see it. I think it comes out at 2:00 today or something.
Well, that's cool. Oh, it's today. Yeah, I was looking at the text from Rat Pack yesterday, so it's coming out today. Well, I'm going to certainly include it in the interview with you, so it'll be in there too. All right.
Thank you for that,
Anthony. Awesome speaking with you. Love the album. Can't say enough great things about it. Everybody should go out and check you out because it's definitely worth it. So thank you
so much. Hey, thank you for your time. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time.
Yep, and I'll keep an eye on your tour dates, and I'll be sure to see you.
Awesome. All the best, brother.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Heavy metal rock.
Global Mind.